You have to be imaginative. You have to see things that are bigger than normal. You have to push yourself and try different things. Stories about people in African American history that was able to achieve and the fortitude that rests inside of them. And that he taught me that same
Baby, can I get over the words we said, the doors we slammed, the miles we walked away, the things unsaid? Baby, can I get over?
Out of the night that covers me, black as the pit from pole to pole, I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I'm not winced nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeonings of chance, my head is bloody, but unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the horror of the shade, and yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how straight the gate, how charged with punishment the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. The poem that I just recited to you all is a poem that's called Evictus. Evictus is an amazing poem, and it begins and ends inside this concept of, do you have the power to captain your soul? Now, soul captaining is what I believe is instrumental to my success. And I've had an amazing life. I've been able to travel to 39 of 50-some states. I've worked with writers from Saturday Night Live. I've written speeches for political campaigns. I currently teach on the college level. I'm working on a documentary. And of course, I get to work with amazing students like you. My soul has been able to navigate through all these career moves because I follow some very simple rules, and I believe that these rules can help out anyone and were given to me by my father. And I want you all to watch this video to see if you can solve this puzzle.
Clearly, somebody in this room murdered Lord Smythe, who, at precisely 3:34 this afternoon, was brutally bludgeoned to death with a blunt instrument. I want each of you to tell me your whereabouts at precisely the time that this dastardly deed took place.
I was polishing the brass in the master bedroom.
I was buttering his lordship's scones below stairs, sir.
Why, I was planting my petunias in the potting shed.
Constable, arrest Lady Smythe.
But how did you know?
Madam, as any horticulturist will tell you, one does not plant petunias until May is out. Take her away.
That's right, madam.
It's just a matter of observation. The real question is, how observant were you?
And action.
Clearly, somebody in this room murdered Lord Smythe, who, at precisely 3:34 this afternoon, was brutally bludgeoned to death with a blunt instrument. I want each of you to tell me your whereabouts at precisely the time that this dastardly deed took place.
I was polishing the brass in the master bedroom.
I was buttering his lordship's scones below stairs, sir.
Why, I was planting my petunias in the potting shed.
Constable, arrest Lady Smythe.
This goes into my first rule, which is of success, which is that you have to pay attention to the world as it moves under your feet. Change happens every day, and some people are slow to see them. There's a statement I believe that as a history teacher, that the first person to see the future always wins. Now, before you make any decision, slow yourself down. What did you see? Why are you seeing this? Can you change it for the better? If you can, change it. If you cannot, leave it. This is about how do you protect your personal life force and how do you protect your personal chi. Change is just part of life, and how you navigate change really is part of how you navigate your success. Some change we're not going to like. I'm sorry, that's just part of life. And some change you are going to like. That's also just part of life. But being able to manage change and how change affects you is part of your personal cheat, right? There's a book that I read once, which is called Who Moved My Cheese? And it's a very interesting book because it's about how a scientist has these two mice and he places them in the center of a maze. And of course, the mice's goal is to go and find the cheese. Of course, the two mice successfully find that cheese on the first day. The second day, the scientist takes that cheese and moves it to a different part of the maze, right? All right? Puts the two mice back in the maze. The one mouse takes that same pathway from yesterday to go find that cheese, while the other mouse finds a new path to find out where the cheese has been moved to, right? You have to realize that you can be one of these two mice in this scenario. You can be the mouse that keeps on doing the same thing, not being able to understand change, or you can be the mouse who says, you know what? Change has happened, and now I must find a new path. That's part of growing up. That's part of really understanding what change is.
Oh my goodness, why she always get good grades? Oh, but I'm just saying, dog. I mean, like, why all the girls got like him though, man? They be acting like he like all fresh or something, man. I can dress fresh too. I mean, look how fresh I look. Shalana, she thinks she cute because she got her hair did, and she got, you know, like her lipstick and everything look good, and she thinks she got on that fresh polo, but she ain't fresh though. She ain't fresh like me. She thinks she cute. I'm just saying, why they cut me from the team? They should have cut him from the team. I mean, I'm about to be the next Kobe LeBron Bryant. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's not like I can't got game. I'm about to be the next Peyton, Eli, Drew Brees Manning up in here. Man, they be hating on your boy, man. I don't even know why. Man, he think he's fresh, but he's not better than me. I promise. I beat him on.
Second, and this is a phrase that gets used oh my God, it gets used way too often. And I need you to know the difference between having haters and missing out on good advice. I say this often because that knowing the difference between haters and good advice is really pinnacle to your success. Some people really do not have haters. They just have fans that are in denial. And some people really do not have haters. They're just too stupid to listen to good advice. I'm going to say that again because someone's going to miss that. Some people really do not have haters. They just have fans that are in denial. And some people really do not have haters. They're just too stupid to listen to good advice. We have to be really careful about the power of the word use haters, right? Yes, you will have people that really do not like you because of your intangibles. And intangibles means that these are things that you're naturally blessed with. Whether you're naturally blessed with quick wit, you have a great sense of fashion, your ability to pick up things quickly. Some people are going to hate you because of it. Some people don't like me because my memory is amazing, right? Or my wit, or the fact that I'm very creative. That's just part of life. But I'm going to challenge you to stop giving them that much energy. If someone has a skill that you wish you had, instead of hating on them, be a student of theirs and find out how are you able to do that. My success has been partially responsible to my ability to be willing to sit at someone's feet and learn something from them. Have some humility to yourself. It goes a long way. Also, be careful about who you take advice from. Now, if you wouldn't switch places with that person, then I don't think you should take advice from them, right? Like, it kind of doesn't make sense. Any advice that you want that advice to upgrade your life. Better yet, let's look at it like this. Or, if you're afraid of ever being that person, you might want to consider their advice just to see where it's coming from. Advice is it's interesting. You're going to get tons of it, right? I still get tons of advice or opinions. Some of them are worth some things, some of them are not worth much of anything. But you have to be very careful and be a fair judge of how you evaluate this advice that you hear.
Look at the cute dog.
don't hate your mother. Morning, Bev.
Patient has a fractured fibula, given a mild sedative, so he can be able to go on tomorrow.
Daddy's gonna be so excited.
All good.
That killed him. The last thing I want you all to, well, not last thing, but another thing that I want you all to consider is monitor how you judge and scrutinize other people, right? We saw on that past video that some people were being judged way too quickly. And sure, some of it was really funny. Actually, a lot of it was very funny. But judging people and scrutinizing people without having enough information is dangerous, right? You never want to look like you're the smartest person in the room all the time, or look like you're too pious, or believe that your ethics are so high. People, there's a phrase that says that you never want to lose, you want to be a king, but you don't never want to lose the human touch. What that means is that carry yourself like royalty. Yes, you should definitely carry yourself like royalty, but you should always be able to relate to the common man and the common person. It goes back to something I said earlier about having a sense of humility about yourself. That is very important. No matter how many degrees you may have or money that you make, can you sit down and just never lose the common touch? That common touch is important. And how people lose that common touch is because they consistently have this desire to scrutinize other people. And you see it in high school, you see it in college. Believe it or not, I still see it in my professional circles where people start talking about someone without even knowing all the facts. Why would you do that? You know, that's not fair. That's disingenuous. People have bad days. Some people have good days. Some people are going through a season of their life where things are not going their way. Instead of being the person that weighs heavy scrutiny upon them, be a friend. And that sometimes means being just a listening ear. You'll be completely surprised what that listening ear will do. At one of the universities that I teach, there's an older Hispanic man that's there. And people treat him really badly. But I go out of my way every day to speak to him. And this story is not about me. It just goes about, the story is really about how to properly value people. And there was an incident that happened at the university where people need to get into the building and no one had their keys. And sure enough, he saw me, he whispered over to me and let me into a door and let everyone else outside. See, everybody has power, no matter where they sit on the grid. Everybody has power. And those people can use their power for good one day, or some people can use that power not so for good. But if all I did was judge him off of scrutiny, oh, this is just a guy that cleans the building, he doesn't really speak English well. If I was judging him, if I was full of like scrutiny towards him, he may have never done that for me. You got to make sure that you understand the value of people. People are extremely valuable. We want to believe that people are not as valuable. You can just throw people away and everybody is replaceable, but that's not necessarily the case. That's part of really understanding just the power of managing relationships correctly.
This is an awareness test. How many passes does the team in white make?
Go!
The answer is 13. But did you see the moonwalking bear?
Last but not least, learn the balance of being selfish with yourself and giving your time to your community. Balance is important, right? In that video that we just watched, it was hard to balance between the number of passes and, of course, the moonwalking bear. But, of course, there was a trick to it because I never told you that there was a moonwalking bear inside of the video in the first place, which is, part of the exercise, right? Your life is going to be about the balance of you counting passes and, of course, making sure you're watching for that moonwalking bear. How do you balance out your career by making sure that you're always giving a hand back to your community? Just because you've made it to a certain level of success does not mean that you should not look back and be a helping hand. And though you may say, well, I'm young, I don't really have much to offer. You have tons to offer because you're 4 or 5 steps ahead of someone that is younger than you, right? Take the time to offer that advice. Give that encouragement. Be a mentor, right? You don't understand how important mentorship is. Even at this age, I still talk to my college mentor as I'm pursuing other career activities. Why? Because if someone has already been there, then why would I not talk to them? That goes back to something I said earlier, that humility of being able to want to learn from other people. Learning from other people does not make you a bad person. It makes you really, really smart. Like Jay-Z says it best in one of his albums that, I sold crack so you don't have to. And people may think that statement is dumb, but basically what he's saying is that I revealed to you all the dangers of doing something that was illegal. Now that I reveal these dangers to you, you don't have to do these things. You should be able to make wiser and better choices. Talk to people who have been where you're going. If you're trying to go to college, if you're majoring in something, talk to those people. That's what makes sense. Go and get that quality, good advice because that is how you're going to be successful in your growth. That's how you're going to be able to captain your soul better. Life does have its challenges, right? So back in the gap, when I was a kid, growing up, 80s, 90s, NBC used to do this commercial, and it still comes up as PSA. It's called The More You Know, right? And inside of The More You Know, this star would come across the screen, and they would give this really kind of like life lesson about some things that you should consider. I'm telling you that you want as many stars to come across your screen to give you the more that you know, right? So that way you can captain your soul better. You don't have to captain this thing called life by yourself. There are tons of people that are in your corner that are rooting for you every day. I'm one of those people that root for you every day. And if you ever need anything, a letter of recommendation, advice, my email address is willing and ready for you to use, and I'm always willing and just ready to help, all right? I hope this conversation has helped. I hope that we've had some fun along the way. I want to thank you all so much for listening, and I hope that you got something from the things that I talked to you today. Captain your souls. Life gets rocky, but I believe in you, and I believe that you are the master of your fate, that you truly are the captain of your soul.